Hello and welcome back to Wisdom Inspired Living, a Wisdom of the Family Soul series exploring how our relationship with life is shaped through belonging, inheritance, and the deeper systemic patterns that live within us. Today, we arrive at the final episode in our Agreement to Life journey. Over the past episodes, we have explored resistance, survival, the body, belonging, receiving love, trust, and the ways the family soul shapes our experience of being human. And through all of these conversations, a deeper invitation has been unfolding. An invitation not simply to understand life differently, but to live differently. Today, we explore what wisdom inspired living truly means, not as an ideal, not as perfection, not as having it all figured out, but as a way of being in relationship with life. Many people spend years trying to control themselves, avoid discomfort, or become better before they allow themselves to feel fully alive. And from that perspective of wisdom of the family soul, life is not something we master through force. Life is relationship. Relationship with ourselves, our body, our emotions, our history, our family system, our humanity, and the unfolding movement of life. And often suffering increases when relationship breaks. When we disconnect from ourselves, when we reject parts of our story, when we fight reality continuously, and when we carry unresolved emotions and burdens alone. When we lose connection with belonging. Wisdom inspired living begins restoring relationship, not perfectly, but consciously. And this changes the quality of life completely. But instead of constantly asking, how do I avoid pain? We begin asking, how do I remain connected to myself and life, even when life is. And this is not always that easy. So I'm going to repeat this question. How do I remain connected to myself and life, even when life is difficult? That is wisdom. One of the deepest shifts within the journey is moving from survival toward presence. For many people, survival became normal very early. The nervous system learned stay alert, stay guarded, prepare for danger, carry responsibility, control uncertainty, disconnect emotionally when overwhelmed. These patterns often continued into adulthood automatically, not because people were weak, but because survival was once necessary. The wisdom of the family soul invites compassion towards these protective patterns because they were trying to help. But wisdom inspired living asks a different question. What becomes possible when life is no longer organized entirely around protection? Oh, this is big. What becomes possible when life is no longer organized entirely around protection? This is where presence begins emerging. Presence with ourselves, presence with emotion, presence with relationship, presence with the body, presence with uncertainty, presence with life as it unfolds, and presence changes everything. because life can only truly be lived in the present moment, not in constant anticipation of changes, not entirely through inherited traits, not through continuous resistance. Presence restores. Throughout this series, we have explored agreement to life as something much deeper than passive acceptance. Agreement restores flow. The agreement to life wisdom material describes agreement as embracing life fully. Its joys, its uncertainties, difficulties, possibilities, and experiences, while recognizing our connection to something larger than ourselves. From a systemic perspective, agreement creates movement because resistance no longer consumes all of our emotional energy. The body softens, the nervous system relaxes, relationship becomes possible again, and flow returns. Not because life becomes painless, but because we stop fighting reality constantly. This changes how we move through the world. There is often less urgency, less emotional force, less internal conflict, less control, less fear-driven striving. And instead, more awareness, more groundedness, more compassion, more presence, more honesty, more connection. Wisdom-inspired living is not perfection. It is participation. It is allowing yourself to belong within your own life. You just to stop there a bit. It is allowing yourself to belong within your own life. And from the perspective of the family soul, healing is really only individual. Every movement towards awareness also influences relationship. When we stop carrying unconscious resistance, something changes systemically. When we acknowledge what was excluded, something softens. When we allow belonging, movement returns. When we stop abandoning ourselves internally, relationship deepens. Wisdom-inspired living, therefore, becomes more than personal well-being. It becomes a way of participating consciously within life, a way of living that honors humanity, connectedness, emotional truth, belonging, compassion, awareness, relationship, presence, and perhaps, most importantly, it becomes a way of living where we no longer need life to be perfect before we allow ourselves to belong to it. This does not mean there will never be pain. There will still be grief, uncertainty, change, loss, challenge. But there can also be relationship, meaning, presence, connection, and flow within experience of being alive. Perhaps that is one of the deepest forms. Thank you for walking this journey with me. It has been an honor to share these conversations with you. My hope is that this series has not only given you ideas to think about, but experiences to feel, questions to reflect on, and awareness that continues unfolding gently within your own life. Remember, wisdom-inspired living is not about becoming perfect. It is about deepening relationship with yourself, love, with your humanity, with the family soul, and with the unfolding journey of being. Perhaps life never asked us to control it completely. Perhaps life has simply been asking us to participate more consciously within it. May you continue softening where protection is no longer needed. May belonging deepen within you. May flow return gently. And may your own agreement to life continue unfolding in ways that brings greater presence, compassion, connection, and peace. Thank you for being here. Take care. Until we meet again, move gently with yourself and with